Meghan Markle here.
Today is November 3rd, 2025. It is 5:18 a.m. This is video number 2. Video number 1 was on PYTE. I spoke a little bit about Meghan, the World Series a little bit, Halloween, and some other things. So there's a lot going on with Andrew that has been talked about on X. But I try to focus mostly on the videos because there are a lot of documents that were put out, that were released by Epstein's estate. But I picked some. Hopefully I'm able to finish record them tonight. I don't want to come back to them again, because if I leave them, I may not get to them again. Okay, so first tweet. All right, so this I covered on my last video. I didn't read some of the comments here. Okay, but I'll skip some, and but anyway, let's get started. Breaking via the BBC, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, formerly known as Prince Andrew. One of the things that I highlighted is that the prince will always remain. Okay, and I still have this open here where I had asked ChatGPT, what was the question again? Has any prince who legally prints under the letter patent has been deprinced? The answer is no. Okay, so if he was to deprince, this is the thing here. Why deprincing is extremely rare. Removing a royal title such as Prince of the United Kingdom will require new letters patent or an act of parliament or a specific royal order directly revoking it, something that has never happened to anyone who qualified under the 1917 patent. By contrast, removal of HRH, His or Her Royal Highness, usage or royal duties is purely administrative or social, not a legal deprivation of title. Okay, we already seen this. They removed the HRH under Princess Diana and Harry and Meghan because they're not working royal. So the prince, Andrew, is still a prince. None of this has taken place for him to not have the prince title. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, let's start all over. Breaking via the BBC, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, formerly known as Prince Andrew, arranged a private tour of Buckingham Palace while the late Queen was in residence for businessmen from a cryptocurrency mining firm that agreed to pay his ex-wife, Sarah, the former Duchess of York, up to £1.4 million. The company employed Sarah Ferguson as a brand ambassador for a crypto mining scheme that would lose investors millions when it fell less than a year later. This video of the men entering palace grounds was taken by one of the men. The palace was not open for public tours when this private tour took place. Okay, so let's watch. There will be screenshot in between.
Thank you.
It fast forward a little bit. There's no sound here.
And there were the two wings did come out to a degree, and it was known as Buckingham House, and it was built by a guy called the Duke of Buckingham. So it only then became a royal palace when it was bought. Oh, thank you.
Man, it seems like they only kept the front, the facade, the one that's facing the street, much cleaner. But when you look at in the courtyard, it needs power wash. It needs to be clean. With all the million that they keep on getting to renovate those palaces, but this need power wash. Okay, a private tour of Buckingham Palace for 1.4 million is well. Prince Andrew? All right, what was the media in the UK covering while all this was going on in 2019? The refurbishment of Frogmore Cottage, pointing down here. A refurbishment that Harry and Meghan reimbursed the Crown for, by the way. When people say they use those two as cover for the royal family, this is exactly what they mean. All right, let's see here. Sex luxury on tap. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry splash out up to £5,000 on a handmade copper bath. Oh, these, you could pause and read. These are the nonsense they were saying back in 2019. Meanwhile, the other one was doing those unethical things. Oh my God, thank God they left. Okay, look at this shit. Every member in that family is compromised by hostile foreign agent because of their greed. Prince William's friendship with the son of Putin's KGB officer should be a global. Yep, there's all of this. Unbelievable. It's almost like, I don't know if some of you, maybe my 200 will know. When I used to talk about, what's that movie? Olympus Has Fallen, and what was the other one? It's one in the US and one in the UK. London Bridge. What's the movie? Yeah, Olympus Has Fallen. That's the US version, and the UK has one too. London Has Fallen. This is the same thing that's happening here. I've been saying it, where it's taking place from within. From within. Alright, so this is what's happening here. Both. Alright, the Russian banker, the royal fixers, and a £500,000 widow. Dmitry, leaders believe, funding Charles' vanity projects will buy him an audience with the future king, but the meeting didn't materialize, and now he wants his money back. I don't know anything about that. Alright, so it's like corruption after corruption. There's all of this going on. What is this here? That's a GIF. What this demonstrates is how he uses Sarah as his agent, facilitator. She filled the offers and is the public face, of Andrew Windsor Limited, but he cashes in. They are all at it. Charles was selling peerage and passport via his private secretary, but Harry and Meghan are in for dig. Oh my goodness. All right, let's go to the next tweet. I skip a lot. This is another video here. There should be some stuff regarding the Epstein files. All right, let's pause that. Mouth-breathing royalists who are staking their happiness on King William, the work-shy removing Harry and Meghan's title, are not going to like hearing this, pointing down here. Also, here's the thing. If William removes Harry and Meghan's title because he doesn't like what they say, his entire reign will be overshadowed by him removing his brother's title. Nothing he does for the rest of his life will matter. He will be remembered as the king who removed his brother's title. It will also make Harry and Meghan even more interesting, contrary to popular belief. Okay, 1 minute and 31 seconds. Let's listen.
And something, to be fair, James, I hadn't properly understood, which has become a lot clearer to me in the last 24 hours, was I had always assumed, I think many of us had assumed, that it was Prince William that was driving this. I was told last night that actually Prince William was critical to the eventual outcome, was the one who was most concerned about his uncle's mental health, something that he takes very seriously indeed. Clearly, he and his wife have done a lot of work on those issues.
William and Kate should never go anywhere near mental health organization unless if they are a patient. They need to be evaluated because the way their mindset are need to be evaluated. But let's continue.
And I was also told that there was a little bit of, I don't know if discomfort is too strong, but nervousness originally from the siblings, from Prince Edward and from Princess Anne, who didn't want to see their eldest brother go too hard on their second brother. And so I think this was all part of the the discussion that meant things had to slow down a bit between last Thursday and what we saw last night.
And William hasn't learned a damn thing. He is the only one who finds the pleasure of making his brother's life a living hell. He hasn't learned from his aunt and uncles, from both sides of his family, especially from his father's side of the family. Look how they are sticking together, despite what's going on. But William, for some reason, I guess Harry's quietness, passive-aggressive kind of thing, give William the kind of urge that he could do some of the things that he's doing to Harry. And I think Harry only allow William to get away from some of the things that he's doing to him only because of hierarchy. Okay? Harry understands the position, the hierarchy of things, the respect he gave his older brother and for the heir to the throne and all of that. But William is taking it as a form of weakness. But when push come to shove, if William does something and when people don't give a shit, it's the end for him. But let's continue. He hasn't learned anything. He could learn from Anne and Edward and all of them, including his father, how they managing Andrew. They're still trying to protect them, but at the same time, it's slightly different for Charles because he's the monarch. There's a lot of pressure on him. This is not to say I'm taking Charles' side, but he still wants to protect his brother, but at the same time, he wants to maintain the monarchy in a way, I think.
It was the king himself who had nerves of steel. And contrary to what we've been reading in the papers, what I was told very explicitly was that there was extremely strong pushback from Andrew on all this originally. He was trying to find every means and every reason to resist this. And I think he arrived at the sort of logical conclusion of what had to happen in those talks on Tuesday and Wednesday.
William wants to take credit for things, but the papers are not playing his game. They're letting the truth out. If William throws his brother and his family out of the royal family simply for telling their side of the story, it will confirm why Harry wanted to get out before his brother became the king with full control over him. Okay, outside of the small island called the UK, Harry and Meghan are incredibly popular. Weak Willie just needs to stay in his small lane, the UK, but he will never be able to control his younger, smarter brother. That ship has sailed. Yeah, that ship has sailed already. Alright, especially the moment Harry had his little family, that's where certain things he will not let his brother do to him. Okay, when it comes to family kind of thing. William and Catherine, too busy on holiday or planning their next one to know this. Okay, let's hope. I hope they could just mind their own business. This is what everybody wants. For William and Catherine to just mind their own business. Don't even think about Harry and Meghan. The Sussexes at large. Exactly. I almost hope William does remove them so that Harry changes their surname to Spencer, which will give Lily the most iconic name on the planet, Lilibet Diana Spencer. That will surely send Willie into permanent psychosis. I don't believe that Andrew has actually had prints removed. Yeah, it's not. You know what? Do I still have it as the... Okay, there it is here. I was putting it on another tweet. Where was it? Can I respond? Okay. She blacked her comment. Let's pause this. Exactamente. He hasn't had anything removed. If you read tampon statement, it says initiated. It has to go through parliament, but they are not interesting. All smoke and mirrors. Okay, so there's that. So there's that. So William is so jealous of Harry that he's planning to remove his title as soon as he is king. But he'll have us believe he wasn't urging Charles to remove Andrew's title because he was concerned for his uncle's mental health. There's the thinking face here. It's interesting to me the amount of virtual pour on Harry and family. Some seem very worried that they made what seems an increasingly logical decision to get away from the royal family. Well, it's William who kicked Harry out, okay? I didn't want to go into it. What are the establishment scared of? They can't keep them all trapped anymore. They might tell. Okay, they might tell. William is, well, the thing is that he has people. Remember, there's one video that I have where Charles is saying he has a lot of friends, so many friends, okay?
I mean, all I can say is that, I mean, there is no truth in so much of this speculation. And Mrs. Barker-Bowles is a great friend of mine. I have a large number of friends. I'm terribly lucky to have so many friends who I think are wonderful and make the whole difference to my life, which would become intolerable otherwise.
He does. He's telling us exactly that. He has a lot of friends. And they all look out for each other. So this is what's scaring the left behinders. Right? And this is why Harry then mingled with these people. So Harry was able to write his book without any reservation because he tells his side of the story. And if you realize that in his book, he didn't say anything about Andrew, because if he starts talking, a lot will come out. Well, the only thing I remember from his book, Spare, is when Meghan was asking who this person was when Harry brought Meghan to meet the Queen, and it was Andrew who was holding something for the Queen or something like that. So Meghan then recognized who Andrew was. The irony of things. The only person she didn't recognize, and is the person that the tabloid was using to shield, and then using Harry and Meghan to cover for Andrew. But anyway. Alright, William is lumbered with Harry and Meghan, but I don't believe he will take titles. What is Harry and Meghan's crime that give William the right to remove their titles? Nothing. It's just jealousy. And then he probably listening to men in gray suit around him. That's the problem he's having. Just thinking in awe, this if the Duke does the unthinkable, and because of the pressure doth himself, just hypothetically, what will be the fallout? I'm just thinking about the pressure, humiliation that he is under. Listen to the other video from Matt Liss. The man is stressed. But the thing is that they were having fun doing all of this. This is Charles with Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell's father. You could stop and read that. Okay? He was starting to train the little boy, William, into all of this mess. They all were having fun and games, okay? Enjoying themselves at the expense of other people's children. Meanwhile, the people around them were framing. They were documenting those things. So now, it's time. The thing is crumbling. They were doing all of this for a reason, but he thought these people were their friends. He thought all of these people around him were their friends. I don't know if some of you remember when I used to talk about, what's that child movie, Angry Bird? All right, they're partying with you. Meanwhile, they're stealing your eggs. That's what was happening. They're partying with them. Okay, look at Charles. That's his true smile here. Meanwhile, they're taking note of all of his unethical behaviors. So he is trapped. This is what Harry was talking about. His brother and family are trapped, and father are trapped.
My father and my brother, they are trapped. They don't get to leave. And I have huge compassion for that.
Because they know what they did. They know it was wrong. But they did it anyway. They were having fun at the expense of other people's children. Okay, whatever's here, that's it. All right, this is an ad. I like Emily, a serious journalist who does her research. I agree. I think William's plan is not the solution he thinks it is, and he won't come out looking great. It will backfire, in my opinion. The other thing people aren't thinking about is that there are only so many people of younger age to do the work of the monarchy should anything happen to William and leave the kids with the throne early. Who else will be around to help? I'm still don't get the vitriol. The simple solution is to remove all of the titles from king down, taking dukes and lords and sir too. OMG, the gossip from the palace sources trying to make William look caring. Are they serious? Emily, the palace stitch you up with that nonsense sub story as if William is kind. We all saw how William was distancing himself from even standing next to Andrew. You know what that remind me? With the family photo during the Mother's Day picture. At first, they were giving William all praise for taking the picture of Kate with the kids. Then when some squaddies who have some freaking X-ray vision eyes start dissecting the image to say this is Photoshop, and then start pointing out the clothes that those kids were wearing, certain places, certain things, and then that's when AP come out asking for the some information about the image, and they can produce those information, and that's when AP disqualified the thing. And then as the squaddies were dissecting the images, okay, not images, the image, it was one image of the family photo, and you see the media start doing a Michael Jackson backsliding moonwalk away from the stage, like he didn't take the picture, and then they're blaming Kate for taking the picture. The person is in the picture, unless there's a clicker somewhere, a remote to do the clicking, but Kate was in the picture, and they're blaming Kate for the picture. So you put your one and one together. Next tweet. Exclusive with Emmanuel Medolo, reporter, The Time, author, murder, and Cairo. Okay, so there's his background here. I don't know who he is. So this person tagged that person. Prince Andrew made £15 million selling a property he neither bought nor paid rent on, courtesy of an opaque trust structure created by Queen Elizabeth and today administered by the King. Newly obtained documentation show how he did it. Alright, I'll leave the link. I'm not gonna read it. Okay, it explains. From my understanding, with this property, he sold it and the person who bought it destroyed it. I think that's the same property. Yeah, there's. My goodness. I'll leave the link in the description if you guys want to read that. Alright, drip, drip, drip on Prince Andrew. There's another thing here. Shouldn't King Charles' cash for honor scandal that the Met dismissed be reopened, especially considering the Met alleged action with Andrew and Godfrey? Alright, did they not get the initial planning permission and a green belt because of security reason? Another multi-million dollar scam. Alright, take a look at, there's code here. Company's house. Charles is patron. Similar setup. Oh my goodness, people are dropping tea here. Remember, there were a lot more. I just pick a few. All the dirty laundry is coming out, Andy. Maybe it is time for the British law enforcement to take a deep dive into the ocean of cover-ups with other members of that family. They might find more than what the British public is aware of about that family. Good work if you can get it. Yeah, so much for Johnson, and the Royals are beyond reproach. All these years, they protected Andrew, going as far as using Prince Harry and his wife to protect and shield this trash of a man that Andrew is. And the thing is that, this is why I keep on saying, they were able to get away with all of these because they have people and places, I call them base, okay, to cover up for them. This is why they're giving them those titles, like for instance, what's this guy? Simon Case, who's somewhere in House of Lord. I have a video. When I was doing the video, I did my little research. As I was doing the thing, I was asking myself questions, okay? And I share it with you. Okay? Is to look out for the institution. This is how they are able to get away from so many things. They have people and places to advocate for them. The same way Charles did by removing the Queen's secretary and put Edward Young. And then Edward Young was keeping the Queen in the dark with so many other things. That's what I believe. Alright, apparently, Sunny Hill was part of the Crown Estate So strictly speaking, one will think any profit on its sale should have gone back to the Crown Estate, not to Andrew. Who runs the Crown Estate, because it's apparently not one from the public? Who owns it? Question. I'm telling you, when the squad raised all of these, some of these questions and some of those tweets, and then you have the Derangers putting some nonsense that make the thing look more fraudulent. The Windsors could give the mafia lessons in money management. This is what I said. They're always in need of money because they just don't know how to manage money. They always have money coming in. They're doing unethical things, and they have taxpayers bringing them money. It's money coming all sort of places. It's like a tree. They just go and grab money, and then they have people to cover for them. All right. No wonder the crook king is so keen to protect his brother over his son and grandchildren. And if Charles and William have any notion of foisting the pantomime sister of York as royal princesses, they should think again. The hereditary principle is just that, or is just nothing. What is it? The hereditary principle is just that, or it is nothing. These pair are commoners now. Okay, Andrew, you mean? They cooks, including the late queen. Yeah, of course. There's that thing where, just look on the screen of what I'm thinking, where so many laws were bent to favor the institution. And this is the same thing they're doing with Jason Kunoff for being at the position, not Jason Kunoff, Simon Case. The one, okay, I might get the name wrong. Just look at the screen. Is that the one that this guy, okay? The possible with Simon Case, his name. He's that position they give him, okay? Is to make sure the laws, whatever they're gonna do, it's almost like a mouthpiece for the institution. All right, except he couldn't do it because he then on the land lease. Also, this is just a small plot of Sun Hill Park. Journalism is dead. Yes, it was sold, but who made it possible? Meanwhile, American elites live on some of those properties without a peep. Yeah, I guess the right ratio today describe in this sale of a Crown Estate Kazakh businessman. Now, do the whole of the royal family. Did he pay tax on that? This is an ad. Let's go to the next one. Now, this is about Jimmy Savile. I may not read everything, okay? I think this might have a link. No, maybe not. Excuse me. Does that say 500 children? 500 OMG. Let's see here. That's a Yahoo screenshot. Prince Charles leads tributes to Jimmy Savile. That was 2011. Prince Charles and Duchess of Cornwall have led the tributes to the veteran broadcaster and charity campaigner Sir Jimmy Savile, who died at his home age 84. This is the cover. Jimmy Savile abused at least 500 children, new research claims. NSPCC study highlight extent of disgraced presenters offending, making him one of the UK's most prolific sex offenders. So this one, okay, it's not, I don't know if, yeah. This one is 2011, this one is 2014. There was, I don't know if it's still on Netflix, there was a documentary on Netflix regarding Jimmy Savile. Okay, there's a documentary, okay. This is horrific. Oh yeah, they say it goes all the way back to the 60s, if not later. I have no words. They all knew it was an open secret. Angela Levine is a pedo and Blur told us Devil Levine is so brave now, creating and knowingly spreading lies about the melanated royals. But when she knew old, young, living, dead people without disability were being abused, she was afraid. You could pause and read this. She highlighted this, so let me just read the highlighted. He raised £30 million. He could threaten to not raise another penny. You have to be a very brave newspaper to do that. Alright, whatever is here, that's it. Wow, truly terrifying and disgusting. Okay, if they were ordinary family, child protection would be knocking on their palace door. No child is safe in that institution. Not too long ago, I was talking about one of the York sisters, I think the older one, who married that developer who had a child with an architect in the state. And I was like, if I was the mother, I will make sure the child never go over there in the palace. If the father wants to come and see the child, is to spend as much time as you want, free reign in the US with the child. But don't bring it to the palace, because you just never know. It seems like the royal family, as long it's not theirs, they don't care. They don't care. So that's my warning. Second warning again. Okay, so this is a video. Okay, so now we start talking about Epstein. This might be part 2 of the video.
It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness and please come back.
As you saw me find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life.